Friedrich-Naumann Foundation is a parliamentarian foundation, and we especially foster people pursue liberal values.
We are creating that next batch of public policy professionals who will be able to really contribute richly to the public policy debate.
A curious young mind with common sense and tons of patience to wait outside the Sarkari office.
We were very clear from the beginning that we want to work on primary data, and therefore I think focus became researching reality.
Researching reality internship is really truly an opportunity for young scholars to get into the evidence-based policy change.
We really believe that young people should have the opportunity to learn about good governance. To really dive deeply into structures of governance and of political leadership, and that is offered by CCS, and that is particularly offered by this research program.
It's really wonderful to talk about Researching Reality initiative of CCS. When we started in 1997, there were hardly any people I could reach out to who understood the market liberal philosophy and can also apply that philosophy to the current issues. So we thought we had to sort of generate our own soldiers.
Areas of work for CCS typically are threefold. So one is the education space, the second is livelihoods, and the third is governance. This internship program actually picks up threads from our core work.
Researching Reality training program is designed in a way that it has both components, field research as well as writing. We ensure that it's a high quality output. Trainees work under a research mentor. We publish the compendium after it is peer reviewed.
I've been looking for policy internships in the informal sector for a very long time, and the Researching Reality internship works on street vendors. It hasn't always done that in every iteration, but it did this year, and that is why I applied for this year's program especially.
My name is Manisha Shukla. I'm currently research scholar at University of Delhi.
I'm Shubham, and I have done Masters in Commerce.
Hi, I'm Brinda, and I'm an economics student.
I did law in Bangalore from Christ University.
I'm doing my Masters in Development Studies from JNU.
I'm a fifth-year law school student from Symbiosis Law School, Noida.
I'm pursuing my Masters in Economics from Ambedkar University, Delhi.
Did you look at the Delhi master plan? We did not refer to the master plan. The main focus was on the two acts.
We have number of sessions and training programs. The training programs focus on skills as well as knowledge. So the sessions are based on, let's say, economics, public choice, writing skills, research methodology, conducting of field research and interviews.
The office sessions were not about work. They were about upskilling us, they were about teaching us the relevant skills, they were about training us for research further.
We started off with some training sessions which were eye-opening in a way because they taught economics in a way that I wasn't really leaning towards.
It was a very smooth process because the sessions and the workshops were timed in a way that it won't be abrupt or we won't be in an unknown territory.
We had certain workshops that prepared us when we went to the field. We had a workshop on research ethics and also on how to prepare a questionnaire.
We had movie screenings for them to be able to gauge, what ideas we want to bring out in the paper. Peoply Life was one of the movies we showed them. Sherni was one of the movies we showed them. These movies essentially spoke about incentives and how that all comes out in policy and law.
We definitely want the intern to be driven by logic and reason rather than by any ideological biases. Look for evidence and then decide what is right based on evidence rather than by intuition.
I had never done fieldwork before this, and I was very nervous and skeptical whether I'd be able to do it.
The fieldwork thing was the most challenging yet the most wonderful experience.
It was very intimidating at first, it was overwhelming at first.
To cut short the emotional content and keep the things relevant to us in this study was a great challenge, yet it was the best part of the internship.
The kind of support we offer is to train interns on how to conduct research. So how do you triangulate information? If during an interview, a respondent gives you some information that contributes greatly to your research, but you're not sure about how accurate it is, how do you go about researching that? How you should talk to other vendors, other sources, other stakeholders, for instance. This is the kind of toolkit that we provide to interns.
They were very new to field research, and one of them also did not have legal background. So because our paper focused on relocation of markets, it was a legal paper. So I helped my interns understand how to read case laws, how to cull out case laws from High Court websites, or how to read executive orders.
I worked as a research guide, and I think one of the places where I contributed was I helped my interns with the primary research collection. It can be quite intimidating to approach people who you don't know before and talk to them, but it's also really fun because when you convert someone who goes from, hey, I can't talk to you right now, and then they get so interested in talking to you when you start asking them the questions, then that process of convincing them and making them open up to you is, I think, very beautiful.
Since we are studying weekly vendors and it's a once a week they come there and have to sell their product during that time frame, so will they talk to us or not? But when I approached them, I found them, they were very cordial, they were very supportive, and they were willing to engage with us and tell us their problems and issues. It was a very humbling experience, I would say.
Learning about their backstories was something I quite enjoyed. Everybody comes from very different backgrounds. They're not all from villages. Some of them have shifted to this profession.
After the fieldwork was done, we had a writing workshop session. It was so insightful.
We were given multiple story arcs wherein we thought of our research subjects as characters. So that was something I've never imagined for academic writing, and that was very interesting.
We never thought of using metaphors in research writing, and now we know that's why people don't like to read it.
Some other workshops were also very beneficial for me. For example, the LaTeX.
Everything about data handling, I mean, be it visualization or formatting, everything was new to me. Be it Canva or Visme, I got to know about Zotero also for citation.
I really enjoyed coming to office because of the atmosphere of CCS. It's a really warm atmosphere that allows for a lot of conversation, like it doesn't in any way stifle conversation.
The culture here is quite different. We are treated with respect. We are not treated like some junior or some intern. There is no sort of hierarchy. We can communicate with each other quite frankly. We can also discuss the ideas, even if the ideas are quite diverging.
Sometimes in our conversations, one of the interns would bring in an interesting point or correct something that I said. So just being open to that and encouraging that, I think made them feel comfortable.
We were allowed to interact very freely with both the other interns and our research guide and others, which helped a very healthy flow of ideas, and we had a considerable say over our research papers.
Interacting with them about things other than the paper. So, other things that they're generally interested in. So just having those casual conversations, which helps build a relationship outside of this research guide sort of intern relationship, I think worked well.
Being with my peers was definitely the most interesting part of the internship. The conversations literally ranged from everything from Russia and Putin to atrocious food combinations.
My interaction with my fellow interns has been quite a learning experience because they all come from diverse backgrounds, from backgrounds which I did not have a lot of communication earlier.
At the end of 2 months, we have come out with this compendium, which is written in simple, plain language, which is accessible to everyone and also translated into Hindi so that our main primary stakeholders, the street vendors, the weekly street vendors, are able to read about it.
We've conducted numerous rounds of reviews, and I like how our papers are turning out at this point.
The output of the Research in Reality internship program, right, had quite a bit of impact in terms of just generating data about what's going on. Data points which would immediately be struck, right, the politicians as well as the citizens and particularly the media. One of the interns chose the topic of finding out what's going on in the lives of the railway porters. And for the first time, I think in our history, we came to know publicly that there's a price tag on the badge, the copper badge the railway porters wear. Right? That's basically a license. And the price at the time was about 5 lakhs rupees. He wrote a paper on that for Times of India, article for Times of India. And the Times of India actually ran similar sort of investigations across the railway stations of India. In the first few years, Sheila Dixit was the Chief Minister. And she actually took the Citizen Handbook and gave it to her department secretaries. And said, this is what Delhi students have found. I want you to reply to them. And we were then invited to actually discuss those replies.
I was an intern, researching reality intern in 2018. 3-4 of us stayed back and we started working part-time, and because I was enjoying this so much. And then finally in 2019, I graduated and I joined full-time as an employee here.
I didn't have much experience working with like the ground realities of policy making. It's an experience that requires you to have some hand-holding, but also be allowed to like find your own process with, your own style with. And CCS definitely helped with that.
From the experience of my other peers and friends I've had, this was a very unique experience, as generally you don't get so many sessions which help you build your skills.
I think researching reality internship would be a very great addition to my profile. Unlike other internships, where more emphasis is on giving grunt work to the interns, here we were actually trained. This experience of going into the field and of learning so much in sessions, in our conversations, in discussions, I think it added a great deal.
The thing about Hafta Bazaars of Delhi and weekly vendors is that we don't give them any thought, and it really opened my mind, stepping out into the field and talking to them. And these people are leading such hard lives, but they'll always be so humble and so courteous to you. It's very heartwarming to look at.
I never thought that I can work with group. I thought that I have compatibility issue, people will not understand what I am doing, but my team was great, my guide was great, everyone was so understanding here that it was never a challenge for me, and now I'm confident that yes, I can work with group also.
The experience was very insightful because we get to know a lot about how these policies work. So while reading the BEAR Act, it felt like the act was quite meticulous and it was quite good. But when we went to the field, we realized that it is actually the implementation that matters. And the presumption that I had that all the policies flow down to the bottom, but that doesn't happen.
The beauty of RR program is that we are not only able to harness the potential that lies within CCS, but actually draw from all over India.
I also think and hope that those people who come out of this program keep up with CCS, the democratic and liberal values of society, and perhaps also with Friedrich Naumann Foundation.
I do see the RR scholars as playing a very vital role in the India at 100 problem to solving for them, and as also giving us ideas on what is it that we should be looking at next.